Alright, so this is page 40, and this is example 3. And I want you to draw that diagram on your paper. You got the vertical line MKJ right there, so draw this on your paper. And coming out of point K, you got KL and KN. And the given information says that in the figure, KJ and KM are opposite rays. Opposite rays have the same endpoint and they form a line. So when they're telling you that K to M and K to J are opposite rays, they're telling you that this is a line. And what's the degree measure of a line? 180. So they're also telling you that these three angles on the left-hand side of the line, they're not telling you they're the same yet. They're telling you that they sum 180. Alright? Indirectly, they're telling you that. And then it says that KN bisects JKL. KN bisects JKL. So they're telling you that these two angles are congruent to each other. And that needs to go in your drawing. And then they're giving you some information. They say that if JKN, which is this angle right here, from J to K to N, 8x minus 13, and NKL, from N to K to L, is 6x plus 11. That's your given information. They're asking you to find the measure of JKN. So you want the measure of angle JKN. So this is all the given information. So this is how you set this problem up. And the last thing you do is you highlight what they're asking you for. They're asking you for JKN. JKN is right here, from J to K to N. That angle, represented by this expression. So in order to find that angle measure, don't you need the value of x? And don't these arc marks mean that the two angles are equal to each other? Well, if that's the case, then 6x plus 11 is equal to 8x minus 13. And then you solve for x. So you subtract your 6x from each side. And then add 13. And you can divide by 2. So your x is equal to 12. So in order to find the measure of angle JKN, you need to substitute a 12 where the x is. So you take 8 times 12 and you subtract 13. And that's 83 degrees. Alright, so the measure of angle JKN is 83 degrees. Any questions on that example? Alright, so now look down at the guided practice. In that same green box, guided practice number 3, where it says suppose, they're asking you to refer to the same drawing. And when they do that, you need to redraw the diagram. So we're going to do that right now. Just going to redraw the vertical line. and it's got MKJ on it. Coming out of point K, you got KN and KL. And KN is still a bisector. So these two angles are still congruent. The given information, suppose JKL equals 9y plus 15. JKL, that is this angle right here, goes from J to K to L. This big angle. You're told that that equals 9y plus 15. And you're told that JKN, this smaller angle in here, JKN, is equal to 5y plus 2. And you're asked to find the measure of JKL. So you need the measure of angle JKL. So you highlight the angle you're looking for. Here's your JKL. And here's the expression that represents that angle. Now if JKN is equal to 5y plus 2 and it's congruent to NKL, then isn't the measure of NKL also 5y plus 2? And those two small angles added together equal your 9y plus 15. So that's how you set up your equation. These two angles, 5y plus 2 plus 5y plus 2. So you got 5y plus 2 plus 5y plus 2 has to equal your 9y plus 15. And then you combine like terms on the left side and you get 10y plus 4 equals 9y plus 15. And then just solve for y. So if your y is equal to 11 and you need the measure of angle JKL, you go back to the expression that represents that angle and you substitute. So you got 9 times 11 minus 15. So 99 minus 15. It's plus. 99 plus 15, 114 degrees. So the measure of angle JKL is 114 degrees. So I hope it's making a little more sense related to yesterday's problems now. Alright? The whole key to these problems is to get your diagram cleaned up and get the information, the given data, onto the diagram and determine what you're given and what you need. And when you know what you're given and what you need, you can come up with a plan for a solution. Alright, so now I want you to look at page 41. We're going to do problems 9 and 10. So page 41. And this is number 9. And the first thing is you're going to draw that picture on your paper. Draw that diagram on your paper. You got a JKL. And out of K you got a KN and a KM. And then you go with the given information. In the figure, KJ and KL are opposite. If KJ and KL are opposite rays, then the three angles on top of the line sum 180. LKM equals 7x minus 5. Here's LKM. That equals 7x minus 5. NKM is 3x plus 9. So this angle right here is 3x plus 9. K to N. KN bisects LKM. Alright? So these two angles are congruent. This one and this one. Find the measure of LKM. So you need the measure of angle LKM. So here's the angle you need. Here's the expression that represents that angle. So if angle MKN is 3x plus 9, what's the measure of NKL? They're congruent to each other, right? So they're the same. So this is also 3x plus 9. So don't the two smaller angles added together equal the big angle? Alright, so what's 3x plus 9 plus 3x plus 9? So we got a 6x plus 18, and it's got to equal your 7x minus 5. So there's your setup. Solve for your x. So if x is equal to 23, you substitute. So 7 times your 23 minus 5. And that's 156 degrees. Any questions on number 9? Alright, so now we're going to do number 10. So what's the first step going to be? This is page 41. Number 10. Good, draw the picture again. Because you're not going to use the same picture for more than one problem because it gets too confusing to your eyes. And when your eyes get confused, your brain gets confused. And when your brain gets confused, it locks up. And when your brain locks up and you're taking a quiz, anxiety starts to happen. And you get nervous. And then you can't do anything. So you got to start with a clean slate. Coming out of K, you got KN again, and you got KM. Same things are true. KN bisects LKM. So these angles are congruent. This one is congruent to this one. NKL is 7x minus 9. NKL, 7x minus 9. JKM is x plus 3. JKM, x plus 3. Find the measure of JKN, the measure of angle J, KN. So I highlight that angle. Angle JKN. Right there. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I need. But in my picture right now, I'm missing an expression, right? To find that angle. But I'm told that these two angles are congruent. So what's the measure of MKN? 7x minus 9. What do the three angles have to add up to? 180, right? Alright, because JKL, they were opposite rays. So these three angles add up to 180. So what's x plus 7x plus 7x? 15x. Then you got 3 minus 9 minus 9. Good, that's negative 15. So you've combined all these expressions, and you know they have to sum 180, so that's equal to 180. So you can solve for your x. So if your x is equal to 13, don't you need these two angles added together? So 13 plus 3 is? Good, that's 16 degrees. And then you got 7 times 13 minus 9. 7 times 13 minus 9. Get 82? 82 degrees. So your 16 degrees plus your 82 degrees gives you JKN, doesn't it? So what is that? 98 degrees. Any questions on problem number 10? Alright, again, the whole key to these problems is having a clean slate, being organized, getting the information on the problem, getting the angle you're looking for highlighted, and then coming up with a plan to solve the problem. So your assignment for today is going to be on page 41 again. Nope, it's on page 42. It's on page 42. And I want you to do problems 36 through 42. 36 through 42. I don't think everybody completely understood the clock problem. If you did, you don't need to do it again. But if you had any problems with the clock problem, then I want you to do it again. Alright, because that's going to be on your quiz.